Notorious kidnapper responsible for Nabeeha's murder in police custody. Abducted Lagos PDP chairman Ivoji regains freedom. Police arrest Osun Prince over killing of US-based lecturer. On the foreign scene, 3 US troops killed in Jordan drone strike attack linked to Iran. Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We start in Abuja as operatives of the Nigerian police have arrested a deadly kidnapper suspected to be involved in the abduction and murder of Nabeeha, the daughter of a Buhari-based lawyer. Nabeeha, her father, alongside her sisters, were abducted in Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory this year on January 9th. They had killed 4 of the hostages, including Nabeeha Al-Kadriyar, a 400-level student of biological science at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and a 13-year-old Folashade Ario. Nabeeha was abducted alongside her 6 siblings. Announcing the arrest in a statement on Sunday, the police stated that the 28-year-old suspect, Bello Muhammad, was nabbed in Kaduna at a hotel during a raid on January 20th with 2.5 million naira believed to be proceeds of the ransom. Force Public Relations Officer Muyiwa Adejobi says, under questioning, Muhammad confessed to being part of the gang that kidnapped Barrister Ario's family members in Buhari on January 2nd. Adejobi says the suspect had offered the sum of 1 million naira bribe to Idris Ibrahim, the divisional police officer of Tafa Division in Kaduna. In other kidnapping developments, the Lagos State Police Command has confirmed, or rather the Lagos State spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Hakeem Amode, has confirmed the release of the kidnapped chairman of the state, Philip Ivoji. Amode, the state PDP publicity secretary, in a message on Monday in Lagos said the abducted chairman was released after he had spent 4 days in captivity. Ivoji was kidnapped on Thursday at Ogere area of Ogun on Ibadan-Lagos Expressway. The party chairman was returning from PDP Southwest Zonal meeting in Ibadan, Oyo State on Thursday. The abductors had earlier contacted his family demanding the sum of 200 million naira ransom, but Amode would not confirm whether or not ransom was paid before the chairman was released. Now, the party had thanked security agencies and government authorities that helped facilitate his release. Still talking kidnapping stories, a 100-level student of the University of ller in Kwara State, earlier abducted, has regained his freedom. The victim of the kidnap incident, Moyo Shore Bright, a student of Zoology Department at the University of Ilorin, was abducted on Friday, but regained consciousness in a bush several kilometers away from the Ilorin metropolis on the same day. Now, the student had boarded a minibus at the school terminus on the main campus alongside other students with the intent of heading back to the hostel when she was abducted. Now, a Sunday statement by the Police Public Relations Officer of the State Command says the student had to find her way back to the Ilorin metropolis when she regained her consciousness after discovering herself in a bush. To more security matters now, the Osun State Police Command has arrested Prince Eniola Oyedoye over the killing of Richard Oking in the Ejigbo local government area of the state. Oking was shot dead on Saturday after the 50th coronation anniversary of the Ogiyan of Ejigbo Oba Oyeyode Oyesosi. The police said in a statement that the prince had instructed one of his civilian guards to fire his double-barrel Dane gun into the air to confirm if the gun is in good condition, but instead shot directly at the victim, and he was rushed to a hospital but later confirmed dead. Meanwhile, the prince, Eniola, who gave the order, has been arrested and is in police custody in connection with an ongoing investigation. Now, youth unemployment has been linked to the surge in criminal activities in Nigeria as cultism, kidnapping and other crimes across the country continue to inundate the polity. According to a cross-section of residents in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, the current economic climate in Nigeria is pushing people into a life of crime as they call on the government to devise new and effective measures of addressing the issues. Jimmy Azandi tells us more.
Idleness in the context of social economics is a situation where someone at the right age and who also possesses the requisite ability is not engaged in any profitable venture. In Nigeria, the majority of those who fall within the above category look up to white-collar jobs, despite the decline in the availability of such jobs. Some of this idle and active set of people usually find themselves vulnerable and open to unwholesome activities that constitute a threat to security of lives and property.
When people are idle, sometimes they begin to think of different things, evil, or otherwise they may think of something that they feel can just give them joy at the moment.
Though in the minority, some youths are already in some skills and are calling on their contemporaries to do something meaningful with their lives.
I'm a handwork person, so I picked so many opportunities in life. So even my exams, I'm about to register it myself. That's the reason why I should advise all the young guys growing up to find something that you use your hand to do.
Almost all the youth nowadays doesn't have anything to do. So when you go to parks, motor parks, you see them there. All they do is load buses, and in the night they'll be out there doing things unimaginable. Have a handwork. It will make you to give you the courage not to even stand in the community and talk, because if they are mentioning people who steal in the society, you are not going to be among.
They say with the current economic hardship in Nigeria, only those who have goods and services to offer can fit into the new paradigm.
So, but if it depends on people, sometimes maybe you go to them, you will not find anything. So it will not even help you anything, you'll be frustrated. So for you not to be frustrated, it is when you have something doing.
We're calling on the government to provide the right atmosphere for profitable ventures, and that we gratefully employ the youths. Those already engaged want others to embrace hard work and dedication in order to develop themselves economically. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Now, residents of Bodija in Oyo State affected by the recent explosion in the area have called on both the federal and state government to expedite action on its relief packages for affected victims. The residents spoke during a visit by the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, to the area. The residents, in their feedback, say victims of Bodija blast are picking up the pieces of their lives following the explosion, as they narrate their experiences 13 days after the incident.
We came down with an extinguisher trying to put out the fire. We discovered he couldn't handle it. And I told one of my boys to go back inside the house, get my phone so I could call the fire service. Then my other boy was standing opposite the house. Then at that point, I started walking back towards my own house so I could meet up with my boy. I asked to go and bring my phone. I had not taken up to 7 steps when the thing exploded. It was a loud bang, just threw me away like a stone.
So I stood in front of the house, opposite the house where the explosives were stored. My brother had gone upstairs to get the phone. My father was walking back a bit to meet up with my brother so he could get so he could get his phone from him while he was going. Our neighbors are already gone, shouting that people should come outside, that there's fire, 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 fire. Then I was right opposite the house. I was just trying to look and observe what was happening. Then before we knew anything, just went boom. Then he just threw me. He took my clothes off my body. Then complete silence and darkness. We could not hear voices. We could not see. We could not hear anything.
So I'm actually appealing to the federal government, the state government, and well-meaning individuals. This is when we need ourselves. That we should show love. We should try and provide a lot of things that will reduce this hardship on the people. I'm happy that the state government has set up an account for donations.
The federal government this weekend says the relocation of the headquarters of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria and some departments of the Apex Bank, the Central Bank of Nigeria, from Abuja to Lagos will increase operational efficiency and reduce operating costs. In a statement, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, dismissed claims that the relocation of some of these departments in the two agencies are politically motivated to marginalize a section of the country. Senator Ali Ndume from Borno South, as well as chieftains of the Arewa Consultative Forum, Northern Elders Forum and other northern groups have kicked against the moves to relocate the headquarters of the Federal Airports Authority and some of the departments of the Central Bank of Nigeria, insinuating that it is an attempt to marginalize the North. However, the minister says it is not acceptable and that the relocation to Lagos is set to enhance the efficiency and operational capacity of all the agencies involved and not politically motivated to marginalize any section of the country. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still to come. Residents raise alarm over skyrocketing prices of drugs in the country. More on this and many other stories coming up ahead after the break. Welcome back to the news. Let's take another look at the headlines. Notorious kidnapper responsible for Nabeeha's murder in police custody. Abducted Lagos PDP chairman regains freedom. To Bauchi State now, where dry season local farmers in the state are decrying the unavailability of farm implements despite the pledges to deliver palliatives as a boost for agricultural development by the federal government. The farmers are making an appeal while speaking to Trust TV News as they highlight the challenges they continue to face in the agriculture sector. Adamu Imam has more.
Irrigation farmers who cut across the elderly, the young and women all acknowledge that the federal government has planned to help Nigerian peasant farmers through palliatives and farm inputs. But however, lamented that such farmers were being shortchanged by the people responsible for reaching the actual farmers. They shortchanged us at the distribution point. We went there with cash at hand for the inputs, but it did not go as planned. I sacrificed my asset just to get money and collect those farm inputs, but they put us on hold. On the day we were to get the inputs, we got there and realized that they gathered non-farmers and took pictures with them to sell the narrative that they have distributed the inputs. Many people went there without money, but they had an arrangement with marketers to get money. For those who had money, they are expected to provide a guarantor before they will be given the fertilizer or the rigs for fitting it. However, some added that considering the capital-intensive nature of dry season, a farmer cannot do without sufficient farm inputs, hence the need for authorities to change strategy in reaching them. If they are supported with enough capital, I believe those perishable farmers can be engaged, and by God's grace, things will be better because with such support, we can produce sufficient food. Dry season farming is a blessing to farmers, just as the rainy season is. We have resolved to engage in irrigation farming to ensure all-round farming. Our biggest challenge now is incursion by animals here. They are sure that if irrigation farmers will be encouraged with farm implements, then Nigeria will be proud of being among the food-secured nation in no distant time. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
A cross-section of Nigerians, while speaking to Trust TV, are calling on the federal government to intervene and halt the rising cost of prescription medication in the country in order to prevent avoidable health emergencies. Now, persons with conditions that require everyday medication say they are finding it extremely difficult to meet their health needs in light of the current economic realities in the country. Hamid Oegbare reports from Osogbo.
Trust TV's check revealed that people battling life-threatening diseases that require constant use of medication for full recovery have now resigned to their fate due to skyrocketing prices of drugs in the country.
Government failed to play their role in the Nigeria economy, pertaining to every situation. Anything containing medical or drugs should be free. We should have access to bring in the drugs without paying any tax on it. Some people cannot afford to buy drugs when they prescribe the drug for them or getting the pharmacies. So we are appealing to the government can assist to be giving people drugs free or they reduce the cost of the drug.
A clinical pharmacist at Zadet Pharmacy, Odiolowo in Osogbo, Osun State, pharmacist Dr. Abdulaziz Adetoyi urged the federal government to intervene and address rising cost of drugs with a view to save lives.
Pertaining to what the government can do on this to help out, I have two suggestions, and one is majorly because of most of the drugs we sell, they are imported, and the cost of importation, the import duties on all these drugs, it's making the prices of drugs to go up. And if the government can find a way of lowering the importation duties on especially drugs or active pharmaceutical ingredients, the materials that we use in producing drugs, because even the local companies that are producing drugs here, some of them still have to import the active pharmaceutical ingredients. So reducing the tariff, I think, should really help to reduce the prices of drugs generally.
Continuous fall of naira against the dollar has impacted negatively on importers of prescription drugs due to exchange rate variation, which in turn affect the prices, a situation Nigerians say must be addressed promptly to prevent avoidable health emergencies in the country. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
The federal government has marked a significant financial milestone by recording 3.09 billion naira in revenue from crude oil sales in September last year, breaking a one-year drought of zero income in the sector. This development revealed in the Central Bank of Nigeria's quarterly statistical bulletin indicates a potential turning point for Nigeria's resource-based income streams. The last recorded revenue from crude oil sales was back in October of 2022, totaling a modest 563 million naira. Despite the country's substantial oil reserves, the government had faced a prolonged revenue drought from this source. Now, the recent uptick in crude oil revenue in September last year is seen as a positive signal for the nation's economic prospects. While the crude oil sales revenue in September of 2023 is significant, it represents only 1.30% of Nigeria's gross oil revenue for the month, which amounted to 238.02 billion naira. To some foreign news stories now. 3 U.S. service members were killed and at least 34 others wounded in a drone attack by Iran-backed militants on U.S. troops in northeastern Jordan near the Syrian border, according to President Joe Biden in an official statement released on Sunday. It is the first deadly strike against U.S. forces since the Israeli-Hamas war erupted in October last year and marks a major escalation in tensions that have engulfed the Middle East. Iran's mission to the United Nations said in a statement on Monday that Tehran was not involved in the attack. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin echoed the threat. He and other senior officials have briefed President Biden on the recent attack. At least 34 personnel were injured in the attack, but that number is suspected to change as more people seek medical care, according to a statement from U.S. Central Command. And 8 personnel were evacuated from Jordan for higher level care, but are in a stable condition. 2 U.S. officials say the U.S. said the drone attack struck near the barracks early in the morning, which could explain the high number of casualties. Talking sports now, Nigeria's super striker Victor Osimhen has been selected by the Confederation of African Football for random drug testing at the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations 2023. A source said Osimhen was tested against host Cote d'Ivoire and Cameroon. The Napoli striker was fouled for the penalty that gave Nigeria a 1-0 victory over Ivory Coast. Now, Osimhen then put in a commendable performance against the indomitable Lions of Cameroon as they won 2-0 in a last 16 clash this Sunday. Now, he set up the first goal for Ademola Lookman and was a constant menace for the Cameroonians before he was replaced by Paul Onuachu late in the game. Osimhen's only goal came in the 1-1 draw against Equatorial Guinea in the Super Eagles' first game. The current CAF Player of the Year is expected to lead the line for the 3-time champions of Africa when they face Angola in the quarterfinals this week. Well, that's it. You're up to date with the latest news stories at this hour. As always, follow us across our social media platforms for more content and visit our website trusttv.com for the latest news. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for your time. I'll see you soon.